Today we are here to talk about two gay movies that I feel everybody should see. And no, the first movie is not Thanks for Everything To Wong Fu, and the second one is not Noah's Ark the movie or the season one or season two on DVD. And even though Drag Race recently released season two and three on DVD, no, it's not there either. They are both two very interesting films. The first one is called For the Bible Tells Me So, and it's a documentary based on what the fuck you think the Bible told some people in the Bible and gayness stuff. Something that I found really powerful at the end of the documentary, which I'm starting this video off with, it says it was this pastor who says, "I cannot for the life of me believe that the God that he serves believes that someone should be punished because you come out black." And he says, "I cannot believe the God that I serve would say that I'm going to punish you because you're black. You should have been born white. I'm going to punish you because you are a woman. You should have been born a man." And he definitely would not say that I'm going to punish you because you're gay. You should have been straight. Now, of course, when it comes to the Bible, I have my opinion of my view of the Bible, which is really no view of the Bible because there's so many different versions of the Bible. I'm going to read you some of the different versions that I found. It says the New International Version, the New Living Translation, the English Standard Version, the New American Standard, the King James Cambridge Edition, the King James 2000 Edition, the American King James Version, the Bible in Basic English, the Darby Translation, the English Revised, and it was like 4 or 5 more. I just like, I'm tired of typing all these different versions. They just don't get those kind. It's so many different versions of the Bible. And I was talking to my friend, telling him this story, and he was saying like all versions of the Bible should be the same. So I was telling him this story about this guy was having sex with this woman, and he pulled out so the woman would get pregnant. And when his semen touched the ground, God struck him dead because they weren't procreating. And he said, "What? That's not the version of the Bible that I read." And I was like, so child. Was he reading the King James Cambridge edition, or was he reading the American King James version, or was he reading so many goddamn versions of the Bible, child? And I believe the way that God I go on and on about the Bible, but let's get back to this. So, of course, it has a lot of different clips, and actually, I was glad they include some clips in the media. One clip that they showed was from the West Wing, a show that comes on NBC, where the president was having this conference with a lot of his people that works with him, and the woman at his meeting said, "Mr. President, I don't think that I don't say that homosexuality is an abomination. The Bible does." And then so the person who plays the president on the West Wing, he was like, "Well, also in Exodus 27 it says selling your daughter into slavery. The Bible says suggests selling your daughter into slavery." So I was like, "Ooh, Barbie wouldn't be shit if people just sold their daughters into slavery instead of treating them like princesses." And another one was Exodus 35:2, where people who you can work on 6 days, but on the Sabbath day, if you work, you should be you should be put to death. And so then the president was like, maybe we should fire whoever his scheduling coordinator is because she schedules the presidents to work on Sundays. And so I just thought that was very interesting. And another Bible verse that was Matthew 19:21 that says, a woman was saying that the Bible says if you are rich, you should give all your money to the poor. And I found it says Matthew 19:21, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give it to the poor. You will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. And I thought that was very interesting because apparently a lot of things that they say in the Bible are since people are trying to take things so literal, with what is said in the Bible, that they brought those things up because the Bible also says, eating shrimp and eating rabbit is a sin, and some queens somehow, I guess, in the American Fag edition, they put in that you can't wear wool and linen together. So I was like, So I mean, people are trying to take the few quotes that they have about homosexuality in the Bible and take them all literal. And one person who's a linguist or language specialist or something like that said that there were in a lot of different languages since the original Bible was written that they really didn't have words or terms to express or talk about homosexuality. So the 6 or 7 different verses that they have to, what is the big word he used? I want to use to. It wasn't critique or to condemn, that's the word. The few words they use to condemn homosexuality are really inappropriate because they haven't been transcribed properly. Now that also comes down to one of my many things that I have against the Bible is the way that God said it and Moses wrote it or whatever the original way that it was written, it was changed, it's been changed because kings felt like, I don't want you to be on ships after sunrise, or I don't think that common people should read, only the high class. I mean, the Bible's been changed in like 949 AD, changed again. Apparently, been changed when King James was over there in England and he was over the world. They changed it 4 or 5 different times since then. So that's one of my things. And then it touches on like a lot of different families. Like there's a bishop named Gene Robinson who's in the Episcopal Church, and they follow his family and his life story, how he was really big in the church. He married a woman, had 2 beautiful kids, and then when he was like 45 he came out. I was like, damn, that's old to be coming out the closet. But 45 he came out the closet. Then they followed this black family where this man said, when he had his, it was a preacher, that's part of a black preacher, which was, I was so done by this. And he said, when me and my wife had our 2 children, I prayed to God that my son doesn't be a faggot and my daughter is not a slut. And God reversed it. And he just burst into laughter as if there was something professional to do during an interview. I'm just like, what pastor is he the church of? I need to definitely put on my Google Maps or my Foursquare to not ever go there. Leave a review on Yelp that this is the horrible church and the pastor has no motherfucking class. But I don't want to cuss. But yeah, and then his wife said, when the daughter came out to her that she was a lesbian, she was like, you are not born that way, being gay is a choice, and you're going to choose to not be gay, and you better not tell anybody else about it. And I was like, what kind of shit is this? But then she came back a little while later on in the movie, and she was like, she, after seeing the clip on Donahue, it was these 2 muscular men, they probably were stayed in the gym a lot, and they were very masculine. And so one of the guests in the Donahue audience said, so which one of y'all plays the woman role? And the men on stage replied that neither one of them played the woman role because they were men and they liked men. And so the black woman was like, after seeing that on Donahue, that inspired her to look at her daughter differently. She was still the same little quiet girl that grew up to like to read and, watch her. She was the same girl before she knew who she was having sex with. And I really appreciated that. But then there comes complications when the daughter is getting married. Yeah, so you should definitely watch this film. It's very factual, very educational, and just very interesting. The next film I want to talk about is The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. This has been going around all the blogs lately, and of course it's on RondaMatters.com, but I also leave you the link down below. What is it about? It's about this young boy. The movie opens up really well. I can't tell you the whole movie because you have to see it. But it opens up, this guy is laying in the bed with this picture in his hand, and he's masturbating. And his father walks in on him, and he's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then the father says, son, it's not weird that you're doing this at this age. All people do it. And so they have their little conversation, and the father leaves, and then we see that the guy's masturbating to a picture of his father. And somehow it turns into this domestic abuse, incest case between the father and the son, and then the mother finds out, and it just does this after that. It's just, the whole time I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is this twisted shit? Oh my God, oh my God. So, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, I want to link you to both movies below, actually, For the Bible Tells Me So. It took a while to load because I guess the movie is hosted somewhere in China, and I was like, America, trying to, going across the web service. It probably took like 5 to 10 minutes to load before I could actually watch it. And The Strange Things About the Johnsons, I'm going to leave you links to both of them below. Watch one of them, watch both of them, tell me how you feel down in the comments. And if there's any movie that you think that other people need to see, then talk about those below. Follow me on Twitter at RondaMatters, RondaMatters.com, and bye-bye.